Okay, this is my third video on disability here. If you haven't watched the first two, I recommend you probably do that first. The first two are about more about what to expect when you become disabled, and then as you're going through your disability. And it is just one thing after another. You know, you're going to have so much to deal with, and it's going to be almost without a doubt the hardest part of your life. Depending on your disability and how crippling it is, it's going to change everything. Even if it's not a crippling disability, it's going to change your life, change the way everyone in society looks at you. You know, I still to this day will tell people, they're like, what kind of work do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm out of work, I'm disabled, and they won't say it because people aren't usually that ignorant, but you can tell they're thinking, oh, so you're leeching off the system because I see you standing here next to me. I usually carry a walking stick almost everywhere if I have to walk, but if I'm just standing, yesterday I was standing in line for the DMV, and I could tell when I told people, nope, you're that guy, you're the leech on the system, you're this or that, don't even worry about what these people are thinking, because people are going to think anything. You know what? You probably thought it, and I probably thought it too. And that's just what happens. It's part of life, It's just, it's unfortunately what a lot of people just goes through their head, and we stereotype and we judge people, most of the time unfairly. Sometimes it is stereotypes exist for a reason, because we need, we're trying to categorize a type of behavior into, this or that, doing certain crimes or whatever. But nobody knows what you're going through. Nobody except God. And that is what I want to talk to you about. And the biggest thing for me, well, the thing that brought me the most hope was messages from God. And by that, and I had it before I really had my kind of enlightenment or awakening, where I was able to understand God's messages better than I could. Before that, there was messages of hope all of the time. And you just have to surrender yourself. You're not going to be able to get through this alone. You're not going to be able to figure all this out. You're going to be so down and so lonely and isolated, and it is going to be a living nightmare. But guess what? You are going to be set up for an amazing transformation into a spiritual, whatever your purpose is, whatever your divine purpose is, whatever God has in store for you, you're going to be set up for that, and it's going to give you a whole new perspective that's way beyond the people that haven't suffered in their lives like you have. This amount of suffering all at once, it's not just going to keep going down and down and down unless you choose to be negative and just to give in to the darkness. Every single one of these issues alone is enough to break someone if you're weak-willed and weak-minded. But I promise you, it may take a while, but I'm a very slow learner. I'm not the brightest guy in the world. If I can get through it and have that type of spiritual awakening at the end, and have a relationship with God, and have the happiest time of my life be when I'm disabled and have family getting sick and dying all around me, and have no money, and if I can be the happiest I've ever been, don't you think that you can? I guarantee you're probably a smarter person than me, and you pick up on things a lot quicker than I do, because it takes me forever. I'm horrible at. I'm not very observant about a lot of things, but I promise you, you're going to get through it. You know, look to the biggest thing as I said, I kind of got messages, and I kind of got signs from God, and I kind of got all these things before I even understood it. And I remember some of the biggest signs from God. We used to have this Pomeranian, and when I was waking up, after an agonizing sleep, I would wake up to this cute little face right in mine, and this dog was not a happy, cuddly dog at all. She wasn't usually happy, but she was always so happy to see me wake up in the morning, and that little smile on her face, it brought me so much hope. So we decided, we're going to, when our Pomeranian died, we were going to get 2 more dogs, and we got 2 more dogs, and then and 2 puppies, and they brought me so much joy. And literally a month or 2 after we got our dogs, my wife found out she was pregnant. And it was funny because my lab, Akita mix, was the first one to always know. My wife has been pregnant 4 times. We have 2 kids. She lost 2 of them, unfortunately. But every single time she was pregnant, my lab, who's not a cuddly dog. My hound dog is very cuddly, but my lab is like, pet me and then just get the hell away from me. But he would come and lay his head right on her lap. And we thought, oh, that's odd, he doesn't do that ever. And every single time he did that, she was pregnant. or if you're like feeling sick or something, he'll come and do that for you. He's got a very strong spiritual sense that I think it's the Akita in him. But anyway, so the dogs brought me so much joy. And as I said, my wife was pregnant. And when I saw my baby girl's face for the first time, it was nothing mattered anymore. Nothing mattered except her. And then, the joy of watching her grow and go through all of her stuff. And even though I couldn't do a lot, it was actually a blessing in disguise, because I was actually able to spend time at home with her. I was in pain a lot of times still. Even spiritual things that happen to you aren't going to take away your pain most of the time. But I was happier, so my pain was more manageable. Because when you have happy things or positive things in your life, that physical pain especially, but even mental pain, it starts to kind of fade a little bit. And the more inner peace you have and the more happiness you have, that pain subsides to a point where it's manageable when you're not thinking about honestly ending everything, because too many people get there. And you have to have those positive things in your life. You have to look at the positive things around you. If you have kids, just try to take in all of their growing and all of their life, and just the joy that they have. See the world through their eyes, and start looking at life like a child. Another big thing. Okay, so my 2 daughters completely were the best thing that ever happened, but we were still in the same boat. We were broke. I was still in pain, and eventually it started coming back. And then, when my mother had a stroke, and then my dad had open heart surgery just a couple months later, I was just numb by that time. I'd been through so much, and now this is just more dumped on me. Now we're going to go through this. Now I have to have my mom being paralyzed and my dad being barely able to get up to take care of her. And so I was just numb, and I was just walking through the woods, and I was like, what in the hell do I do now? And I have always talked to God. I've always talk to him. I never expected an answer because I rarely understood when I got one. He sent them to me, but I didn't see him until after, but I'll explain that. So I'm walking through the woods, and then a white-tailed doe comes out of the woods and just looks at me, and her pretty brown eyes, oh man, as I kid you not, as I'm saying this, there are two white-tailed does that just came out of the woods. Oh man, I'm gonna see if I can get a picture of them. Oh, that is amazing. They're going away. Oh wow, that is the messages from God. I just started talking about the white-tailed doe coming out of the woods, and 3 of them just came out, and I'm sitting here in my car because it's raining. They just came out and walked across the path that I'm going to walk down after I've filmed this. So that white-tailed doe comes out, and that was God visiting me. She came down and she walked with me for half an hour on my little walk there, and it was the most peaceful I've ever felt, and the most power of God filling me and saying it's going to be okay. You have a new purpose now. You're going to serve me and help spread the light to others. And when I left the woods that day, the peace never went away. I was totally transformed. And I'm telling you, the suffering I went through from my disability and all the other stuff combined, all the other things that you think, oh, my life is just can't get any more miserable. This is just awful. I must have a curse on me. We used to say, we had a family curse, and, we still say it sometimes. I try not to because I'm not thinking that way anymore, but it seems like we do because all the little things that happen. We get a car, the motor blows, we get this, something goes wrong no matter what we seem to do. And I found this peace that transcends all that. It is powerful. I'm telling you, your suffering is a key to the wisdom of the divine, and there is a wellspring inside of you, and that is where you're in your soul. In all of our souls is our connection to God. There is a void there, our connection to darkness, and there is a wellspring there, a divine wellspring, our connection to the light. And that is the connection that God wants us to tap into. But he doesn't make it easy, because if it was easy, it just wouldn't matter at all. No, he makes it the hardest to get to. And you're going through that disability is going to be your key to the vault that opens that door to the divine wellspring. And once you find it, you have tapped into that light and peace, and you will have a lifetime of happiness, and you will know what God wants you to do. And when you fulfill your purpose, that is what we are here for, our divine purpose. That we're not here to be a car salesman, we're not here to be a mechanic or anything else. Those are just things along the way that are giving us experiences. We are here to do our divine purpose, and you will find that. And I promise you, it'll get easier, because you will learn. Once you learn how to, you have to learn to live in the moment, because you're going to deal with these problems, and one at a time, they're going to eat away at you, and it's just going to be, it's going to take you either down farther into the void. Like I said, there's a void in your soul, and that goes to hell. That goes to pure hell. Or you're going to go to the divine wellspring, and you're going to be reborn. Because I was reborn the day that doe came out of the woods. And I know people can say all they want. Oh, probably a doe that somebody fed, and blah, blah, blah. I have been visited from God several times in my life, and I knew it. And there is no way that I can have that happen to me and then all of a sudden have all this wisdom that I'd never had before. It just unlocked this wisdom. Oh yeah, that was just a doe that somebody fed. That it wasn't anything divine. It wasn't some big miracle. I don't care what you think. It was a divine miracle. I don't know if it was God or an angel or a spirit or what, but they came to me and they gave me hope. They gave me light, and they gave me unwavering faith that I will never lose. I will never lose. I might have my faith tested if something were to happen to my girls or something like that. It would definitely be tested, but I would not lose my faith. You can test it all you want, and I hope that's not a challenge to God. God, don't take that as a challenge, please. I've been tested so much already, but I was tested because my purpose is to help others who go through similar things as to what I did. And I promise you, I just start writing, send me messages, send me comments, whatever. I will give you a way to contact me through email or whatever, and I will do my best to try to lift you up. Now, you will be in my prayer. I will ask God every day for him to open your eyes and give you the kind of spiritual sight that you need, because you're going to need to learn, like, before you find your spirituality. Just know you don't have to hang on to that fear and anxiety about what's going to happen. Just take deep breaths, live in the moment, take one thing at a time, take it slow. Nobody expects so much from you. You just have to get through, and you have to do your best, do the best you can for the people who rely on you, and you will get through this. I promise you. Even if it means you're having to sell your house or move into a small apartment or whatever you could think the worst case is, that's not going to be the end. It's going to just be another bump in the road, and it's not going to be nearly as bad as you think unless you make it that bad. I love you. I'm going to try to do more videos on this someday. But please comment to me and tell me your experiences or your problems, and I will do my best to reply to every single one of them. God bless.